God did not begin making the man that he created first in his image. Rather, the first man that he made was Etin, right? The man of the earth. So he began to recreate that man. So when he recreated the man, he then began the process of making the man in his image. In that recreation, he formed the man out of the dust of the ground. That's the recreation. All right. So in that recreation, he began to reset, reform the man of the earth. So God took the man of the earth, reformed him, recreated him, so that he can begin the process of making him in the image of God. In that state of consciousness, man could be made. Man could begin the journey in the image of God, or the journey of the image of God, or the journey of becoming that which God had originally intended. Just think about it. So, man in the state of the earth, or Eti, the man of the earth, does not have what it takes to assume the image of God. So God would have to recreate. God would have to reform and reset the man. So his hand took the man of the earth, gave him a form that has the capacity to bear the image of God. So the Lord formed the man out of the dust of the ground, took him from the dust of the ground, gave him a spiritual shape, powerful shape, and transferred into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. Man became a living soul. So God recreated the man from the dust of the ground, or the man of the earth, the Eti, and upgraded his status into a living soul. In that position of a living soul, he is able to now walk with God, dwell in the garden of God, commune with God, and go through all the required spiritual process to assume the image of God. God said, let us make man. So man would have to exist first in order to follow God, to become, to come in or to assume his image. For man to gain the capacity to have dominion over creatures of the waters, he must have water in his vessels. So you realize that the knitting of the man is a combination of the elements that he ought to rule and have dominion over. Now just think about who you are. Just look at yourself. What are the components that constitute your various units? Why were you not an iron or wood or some kind of creature that don't have any water inside you? Do you think that 1/3 of your body carries water? You think that water is for nothing? Just think about it. In fact, it is a big problem if you are dehydrated. When your entire body runs out of water, probably you're going to die. Why is water a significant part of your existence? There are billions of creatures and trillions of creatures that move, talk, intelligent creatures, well-informed and able to articulate, and they live in another world, in another consciousness, but they don't have the type of body you have. They can reason even better than you. Their movements can be faster than you are, but they don't have the human body. They don't have water inside them. They don't have blood running inside them. They don't have bones. They have their own habitation and existence. See that? But you are here as a creature that has water. And 1/3 of your entire body is water. Blood is part of water, because it's liquid that runs in you. So why do you have water inside you? What else do you have inside you? Air. Every moment of your life, you're taking in air and exhaling air. Think about it. You think it was a mistake that water is inside you, and it's a mistake. Just think about it. Even as I'm talking to you now, you can't survive the next 20 minutes without inhaling air into your lungs and exhaling carbon dioxide. I'm trying to open your eyes to something very deep. That you as a constitution, you rule certain dimensions that are embodied in you. I'm going to show you how you as an individual has a ruling ability over certain realms, and these realms live within you. Everything that man is and every creature of God has custodians. The Bible calls them trees in the Garden of Eden. And then he said to them, eat from this tree. Eat from this, meaning learn. Trees are custodians, they are teachers. So, why do we have water inside our body? Why do we inhale and exhale air? Why is it that you can't do without air? Why do you think that you cannot do without water? If I remove all the water from your body, will you be alive? So part of your consciousness, part of your existence here on earth is water. Why do you have a body? You see that your body is from the earth. So one is earthen, one is water, and one is air. So I submit to you now, what is it that you were created to have dominion over? Creatures from the water. What do you have? Water. 1/3 in your body is water. What were you called to have dominion over? The fowl of the air. What do you inhale and exhale? 247? Air. Good. And then the earth. What do you have in your body? The earthen vessel. The earthen vessel. So the question is, what do you know about the air that you breathe every day? What do you think? Do you think that you just have this air for no reasons? What's the purpose of the mother air in your loins? So let us make man in our image after our likeness. What does that mean? Man is an embodiment of air, earth, and water. Look here. Can I remove air from you? Are you going to survive? you'll be disintegrated instantly. Because your authority in the realms of air will die. Because that's purpose. Purpose is reason for living. Everything is alive for a purpose. So purpose is the cause for life. What I mean cause, C-A-U-S-E, cause. Purpose is cause for life. You are alive because of purpose. So you are an offspring of purpose. The knitting together, the embodiment of air, earth, and water make you a man. Spirit. What type of air do we have? What type of spirit do we have? What type of air, wind, or pneuma do we have? Because every air, but the natural air, the spiritual air, and all the airs where spiritual creatures live in are called air. But what kind of air do we have? Because for us to be made in the image of God, it means that we have a different kind of air. And that air makes us superior in the realm of air and before the air, because air is a creature. It's a living creature. Air is a woman. Waters are a woman. Feminine. The earth is a woman. The earth is a woman. When I mean woman, I'm not talking about the woman of humans. I'm talking about that the air, the water, the earth are procreative. They are entering gates of creatures. When something can birth a thing, it is considered to be procreative. Is it correct? Ecclesiastes 12:7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was. And the spirit in the Hebrew is the air, the wind, spirit. Let's go on. And spirit shall return unto God who gave it. At what point did God give the air? You know it. When he formed the man out of the dust to the ground. When he gave him a body. The earthen vessels, is that correct? And then he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And that breath filled him with water of life. And man became a living soul. The breath, the spirit, returns back to God who gave it. So the air we have in us is from God. And that air makes you a ruler of the air. Yeah, you got that. So the superior of all the air is the one that came, the superior air amongst all air. It's the one that came from God. And because that air from God is in you, that spirit, that breath from God is in you, you have the power to have dominion over the fowl of the air. So because the water of life, the water from God, came into your spirit, came into your body, that means you have a superior water. And when you speak, all waters and creatures will respond. And because the hand of God formed your body. You see, when you were dust, God called you forth. You know that the first creation of man, I believe, was that God called him forth. But when God wanted to embody man and bring him to a spiritual capacity to be made in his image, his hand was involved. So he stretched his hand and took the dust of the ground. You know that God's hand is a hand of power. Yeah. So the three elements that are in you came from the working of God. Your body was shaped by the very hand of God. The breath of life that came into you came from God. And the water that came first into you came from the breath of God. Praise God. So somebody say, I have authority over the air because I have the breath of God inside me. I have authority over the earth because the hand of God extracted me from the dust of the ground and gave me a ruling form and shape to rule over the earth.